I'm your host, Locum23, joining me for Edge of Extinction, Episode 3. In the warm confines of the church, you sleep better than you have in the weeks. When you crawl out of your tent the next morning, you feel refreshed and re-energized. You notice Joseph, Lewis, and several others sitting in the pews, talking and laughing as they share breakfast. Joseph waves you over. He offers you a plate. Lewis sets a bowl of canned food on the floor for Shadow. You give them a nod of thanks as you sit down. Hildy made a special breakfast treat to welcome you, eggs and waffles. The eggs are powder, the waffles clearly frozen and reheated, but the syrup is sweet and it's probably the best meal you've had since the collapse. As you eat, you think back on what Grace said the previous night about fitting in with the group and the impending vote on whether you can stay. Lost in thought, you didn't notice Joseph staring at you, but he clearly has a sense of what's going on as he asks, "How did the meeting with Grace go?" "Not great. She basically told me I have to prove myself or the group will vote me into exile. I wish she'd be a bit more diplomatic. What she said is true, but only in fashion. Everyone here cares about each other, but sometimes tensions run high. Emotional outbursts can cause real problems. Grace knows this. She wants to make you uncomfortable, see if you can keep your anger in check or if you fly off the handle when someone pushes your buttons. I'm not like that. I know how to keep my cool when it counts." "Good. Don't let her get under your skin and there won't be any problems. Grace is our leader despite what she says, so she feels responsible for every single one of us. I imagine that isn't easy. But we've never voted to send anyone away, and once you're part of the group, Grace will have your back." Lewis chimes in, speaking quickly in his native tongue. Joseph laughs and nods and turns back to you. "Lewis says you look tense. He thinks you need to relax. He asked if you've ever gone skijoring." I don't even know what that means. It's Norwegian for skydiving. You strap on your... or ski diving. You strap on your skis and put a harness on Shadow and let her pull you along the snow. It's quite popular here, at least it was before the collapse. Dogs love it, tearing across the snow at full sprint while you hang on for the ride. Prospect of racing down the snow-covered streets with Shadow sounds exhilarating, but also exhausting. You're not sure if you're up for it too soon after your long trek to reach Stromstad. I'd rather just rest. Shadow and I crossed 500 frozen miles to get here. After all that, I don't think either of us wants to go out and play in the snow. I guess as far as you've come, it might be nice to just sit and relax a while. Joseph stands up and takes your empty plate. Lewis does the same with Shadow's dish. Care to help with the dishes? Everyone has to do their part, right? With the three of you, it doesn't take long to wash and dry the dishes. Lewis whistles a tune you don't recognize, and Joseph hums along. Once you've completed your domestic chores, you excuse yourself to finish unpacking your gear. You lay everything out piece by piece on the floor around your tent, amazed at how many items you managed to cram inside your backpack. Map, compass, extra gloves, socks, sweaters, bullets, batteries, matches, flashlight, robe, multi-tool, pocket knife, first aid kit. Shadow studies you with curiosity as you go through your inventory. After a few minutes, you notice she's not the only one watching you. Mari is standing off to the side, staring. Her arms are folded across her pregnant belly, cradling her unborn child. Realizing she's been noticed, the young woman takes a few hesitant steps toward, her gaze going from you to Shadow and back again. "Is everything okay? Are you alright?" She nods and takes another hesitant step forward. In a voice so soft it's barely audible, she says, "Is okay to pet Shadow?" You nod, and she lowers herself awkwardly to the floor beside your husky. As she strokes her soft fur, Shadow snuggles up close, pressing herself tight against the young woman. Mari laughs in surprise. "She likes you. I think she wants to be friends." She continues petting the dog, but doesn't say anything. Her expression is one of calm contentment. You watch her for several minutes in silence, letting her enjoy the moment. You notice Joseph coming over. "Mari, Hildy needs to see you. You didn't eat your breakfast." He speaks softly, but his voice still seems to startle her. She looks up as if coming out of a dream, then nods. Joseph offers a hand and helps her around. "I don't like eggs. Make me sick." "I know, but you have to eat something. Hildy made some porridge. Think you can keep that down?" She nods and then turns back to you in shadow.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Come back anytime. The young woman faces lights up. She nods enthusiastically. Joseph watches her go as she heads over to Hildy's corner and then turns to you. That was a nice thing you did for her. To be honest, it was the most interactions he's had with anyone in days. You care about her a lot, don't you? I've noticed how you watch over her. I guess I'm a bit overprotective. I hate to admit that. Being a father figure makes me feel ancient. The others look up to you. It's not just Mari. Grace may be the leader, but the whole group listens to what you have to say. So you're saying Grace is overly strict mother and I'm the easygoing father? Great! That doesn't make me feel old at all. Now you should lean into it. You know what they say about growing old. The alternative is worse. Joseph barks out a surprised laugh and looks around with a guilty expression. Careful. With all we've been through, not everyone here appreciates dark humor. But that's not why I came over. Grace wants us to go on a scouting run tomorrow. You, me, her. We're running low on basic medical supplies, aspirin, bandages, prenatal vitamins for Mary. Hopefully we can find a pharmacy we haven't already picked clean. I'll be ready. Tell Grace I'm looking forward to it. Good. That's the right attitude. Remember, we all want you to stick around. Even Grace. Joseph turns to go, and then he turns back and gives you a sly smile. But be on your best behavior, just in case. At first light the next morning, you and Shadow head out to the city with Grace and Joseph. Let's make for the island. I think we'll have better luck there. Across the nearby Tromsted Bridge, taking turns dragging the empty cargo sled. The bridge is nearly 300 feet long, rising from the shore in a long, graceful arc that peaks over 100 feet above the icy water below. Joseph is his typical cheerful self, but his attempts at conversation fall flat. Grace isn't interested in chatting, and you're focused on the mission and Grace's impression of you. Once across, you wind your way through several city blocks, spray painting buildings to mark streets and structures that have been explored. The methodical grid search is effective, but slow. After 2 hours, you still haven't found anything. We're going to have to turn back soon if we want to get home before sunset. Maybe we should split up. We can cover more ground if we go down a different street. No, we stay together. There's a reason we don't send people out alone. It's too dangerous. Too dangerous how? Are there frozen zombies? What is going to attack me? Besides maybe a bear. It's your call, Grace. I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes. I'm just here along for the ride. Grace gives a sidelong glance and then decides you were being sincere. Let's hit the next block. If we don't find anything there, we head back. Uh-oh. The three of you press on. Halfway down the block, Shadow stops and gives a low growl. What's the matter, girl? Something wrong? Don't move. Over there. She speaks in a harsh whisper. Following her gaze, you notice a large snowdrift in a nearby alley. Suddenly, look, a bear! Called it. Suddenly, the snowdrift shifts position. A pair of eyes stare back at you over a flat, black nose. What is a polar bear doing this far south? Even though he's whispering, you can hear the tension in his voice and in Grace's hushed reply. Hunting. You travel 1,000 miles looking for food. They aren't picky. Polar bear is still crouched down, lying in ambush, but you estimate it's roughly twice the size of the grizzly you and Shadow faced before. Any ideas? If anyone has a plan, I'm ready to hear it. Just leave the sled and back away slowly. Try not to spook it. Shadow is growling softly, but as the three of you slowly back up, she does the same, seeing its prey retreat. The bear charges. Shadow barks and lunges, leaping over the abandoned sled. She hurls through the air, only gets swatted aside by the mighty paw. You pull your pistol on fire, but the bullets don't even slow the beast as it slams into your group. There's a moment of utter chaos. Multiple gunshots ring out amid the flurry of claws, teeth, and snow-white fur. The next thing you know, you're flying casually toward tossed aside like a child's toy. You hit the ground hard. Shadow darts back into the chaos, drawing the bear's attention, and for a few seconds luring it away from the rest of the view. But after a short pursuit, the beast stops chasing the husky and turns back around, focusing once more on its human prey. Grace and Joseph are still on the ground, injured during the furious first assault after you were knocked clear. Be a hero, attack the bear. Protect Grace, protect Joseph. Well, crap. The bear snorts and growls, rising on its hind legs to its full 10-foot height, then drops on all fours and charges towards you, two helpless companions. Okay, so the thing is I'm in the middle, right? Joseph is on the right, Grace is on the left. She's in the military. I believe she can handle herself, so I'm gonna go ahead and protect Joseph. Shouting and firing a pistol, you race forward, put yourself between Joseph and the polar bear. The bear veers away from you, targeting Grace's prone figure instead. Still dazed, she manages to stand up, only to be slammed back down to the ground as the bear throws itself atop her. Ignoring the slugs from your pistol ripping into the thick fur and flesh on its back, the bear racks its claws across Grace's face. You fire again, but only get a sharp click from your gun. Grace screams as you frantically try to reload your now empty weapon. Shadow throws herself on the bear's back, but the beast rears up and shrugs her off. Beside you, Joseph tries to stand, but falls back to the ground, still woozy from being run over by a 1,500-pound behemoth. The rifle! You toss your pistol aside, dive for Grace's discarded weapon, skidding through the snow on your stomach. The bear has Grace pinned, slashing at her as she kicks and flails in a vain attempt to break free. Raising yourself on one knee, you take careful aim and squeeze the trigger. Boom. Headshot. The report is deafening. The bear's head snaps back as the bullet pierces its skull. Saved Joseph, but Grace paid the cost. Well, you had to either choose or play the hero. It slumps over on its side, motionless. Its fur and the surrounding snow are covered and stained with blood. The bear's and Grace's. Oh, Grace. You toss the rifle aside and bend down to check on Grace. Barely conscious, he groans as you inspect her. The left side of her face is a ragged, bloody mess. You stare at it, overwhelmed by the extent of her injuries. A second later, Joseph joins you at her side. We have to stop the bleeding, stabilize her before she goes into shock. Between the two of you, you manage to staunch her wounds while Shadow paces anxiously close by. That's all we can do for her now. Let's get her on the sled and back to the church. What about you? Are you hurt at all? Cuts, scrapes, and bruises mostly. The bear roughed me up, but I'm doing better than Grace, thanks to you. Let's get Grace home. Help me get her on the sled. Together, you load Grace up and make your way back to the church. As you near the building, Joseph uses a short-range walkie-talkie to let the others know what happened. Anna, Pavel, David, and Lewis are waiting to meet you with a makeshift litter. Then David stays behind as the others load Grace up and take her inside. How the hell did you let this happen? Nobody could stop this. We ran into a polar bear. Those things are killing machines. Everything happened so fast. The only reason any of us survived is because of John. Yet somehow you're both standing here and Grace is scarred for life. David spins angrily away and stomps off into the church. Joseph puts a hand on your arm to keep you from following. Let him go. He's worried about Grace. He isn't thinking straight, so just give him some time to cool off. You nod, and then you and Joseph head into the church. Lewis is there waiting. He rushes over and gives Joseph a giant hug. He then turns to you and takes your hand and gives a deep bow before rattling off several words in French. Lewis says you're a true hero. He wants to compose a song celebrating what you did. I'm honored. Tell him thank you. I can't wait to hear it. Joseph relays the message to Lewis, then turns back to you. I think I need to lie down. It's been a difficult day, to say the least. You should try to get some rest, too. You must be exhausted. Again, thank you. Joseph heads off to his corner of the church, leaning on Lewis for support. With the adrenaline from the attack fading, you suddenly feel a deep weariness settling over you. Stumble to your tent, crawl inside with Shadow curled up beside you. Fall into a deep, dreamless sleep. Yeah, we don't check on the dog. Dog must be okay? We haven't checked on it at all, but it must be okay. You awaken to the sound of someone rapping lightly at your tent. John, it's time. The group is waiting for you. You follow Joseph to the front of the church where everyone is gathered in the pews. Grace is sitting beside David. The left side of her face is scarred and scabbed, and a thick patch covers her eye. She rises as you approach, and Joseph takes a seat next to Lewis. You should be resting. Good to see you again. That looks painful. You should be resting, Grace. I didn't expect to see you here. I thought you'd be recovering. The vote is too important. I took some painkillers, but they barely take the edge off. My eye is blind, probably permanent. My face, well, you can see for yourself. But I'm going to live, thanks to you. You realize she doesn't remember the details of what happened. Grace has no idea you chose to save Joseph first instead of her. Tell her thanks. I don't deserve your thanks. During the attack, I had to make a choice about who to protect. I chose Joseph. That's why the bear went for you. What happened to you? It's my fault. Grace is silent for a moment, mulling over the new information. She looks over to David, who is quietly seething in a seat. You had to make a decision in the heat of battle. I know what that's like. In the end, you still risk your life to save me. That's all that matters. The others are waiting. Come with me. Leads you to the front of the pews and up on the church dais. She then turns to address the assemblance. You all know why we're here. We have a newcomer who wants to join us. John. She speaks, you notice Joseph and Anna softly translating her words for those in the group who don't speak English. When we first came together, we agreed that all major decisions would be as a group. Since then, our little group has grown. New people have found us, and we have welcomed them into the fold. They have made our group stronger. I feel the same way about John. By now, you've all heard how he saved me and Joseph from the bear. In my eyes, that alone is enough to prove his worth. But the decision isn't mine to make. We must decide this as a group. So if there are any others who wish to speak, they may do so now. Mari stands up, drawing several surprised murmurs.
I think John and Shadow stay. They are good, nice. They help us.
Her voice is soft, uncertain, as she struggles to find the words in English, but the fact that she spoke at all clearly has an impact on the others. She sits down quickly, as if even she is surprised at what she just did. Joseph clears his throat and stands up. You know what I think. I've made this speech before, and I don't believe we should ever cast anyone out. We're better than that. None of us is perfect. We all have our faults. Sometimes we disagree. Sometimes we annoy each other. Sometimes we get angry with each other. But each one of us has value. We all bring something to the group. Every person we have added has made us stronger than before. I feel the same way about John. We need him as much as he needs us, and we're all in this together. Joseph sits back down, and Grace scans the rest of the crowd. Seeing nobody else wants to speak, she turns to you. John, do you have anything to say on your own behalf? This group is special. I admire what you've accomplished here out of the ashes of the old world, and you've come together to build something beautiful. A real community. If you let me stay, I'll do whatever I can to help protect and grow this community. See several of the group nodding in agreement. Joseph smiles in approval. Grace turns and addresses the assemblance. It's time to vote. Please write your decision on the cards and pass them forward. Marco and Sophia gather up the votes and bring them over to Grace. The three of them confer, quickly telling the results. Grace turns to face you with her eye patch and the injury into her face. Her expression is inscrutable. The group has decided. John, you are now one of us. Constant population you, yay! A collective cheer rises up, and you all are mobbed by a wave of handshakes and hugs. Dag starts passing out plastic cups, while Hildy quickly fills them with wine. Lewis breaks out the guitar. The impromptu party lasts well into the long winter night, a whirlwind celebration of warmth and cheer, punctuated by singing, dancing, and plenty of wine. After a while, it almost begins to feel like a dream. After so many weeks of grim solitude, this kind of togetherness is an experience you thought you might never have again. Marco and Sophia are the first to leave. Joseph explains that each has a shift on guard duty that night. Grace excuses herself soon after, and David leaves with her. Neither seem to be in a festive mood, understandable considering Grace's injuries. Anna, Pavel are next to go, though they come over to wish you a good night before they leave.
Congratulations, John. Welcome to our little family.
She's slurring her words slightly, her face is flushed, and her gaze is glassy. Pavel is contrast, seems completely sober.
This Isn't the wine wonderful? Neil D has really outdone herself.
It's very good. I'd forgotten what fine wine tasted like. It's good to be reminded of life's little pleasures again.
Agree. Too bad my husband doesn't feel that way. Pavel thinks we're training for the Olympics.
Just don't see the point in falling down drunk. Yeah, I don't see the harm. It's not like anybody here has to drive home. Who cares if we get a little shit-faced? And alas, a loud, braving guffaw. Pavel purses his lips in disapproval.
Good night, John. Enjoy the party.
She gives you a clingy, clumsy hug before staggering off towards her part of the church, pointedly ignoring her husband. Pavel shakes his head as he watches her go, and turns to follow without saying another word. Those who remain continue to laugh and drink and sing along with Lewis's guitar long into the night. I'm gonna stay until the party ends. One by one, the other celebrants stare out, each coming to wish you a final congratulations before they head to bed. In the end, it's just you, Lewis, Shadow, who remain. The young musician finally sets aside his guitar and gets to his feet. Smiling, he pats you on the shoulder, smiles, and drifts away. Shadow looks up at you, her expression almost pleading. Fine, we'll go to bed. You're right, girl, it's been a long day. Time for bed. Best friend, neutral, neutral, liked, disliked, neutral, neutral, liked. Fine, Grace, bite me. Without further ado, thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down the description below, links to social media, Discord, and a few links to support me and my content. Also, hit that bell icon notification, or, well, so you can get notification. Also, consider hitting join. It's a great way of joining Locums Locos, being a part of the community, and a way of giving back, a way of going, you know what, I like your content so much that I want to be a supportive member and give back. But there's also links down below if you want to do that as well without hitting the join button. Without further ado, thanks for watching, and I will catch you all in the next video. And also, happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. Peace.